In this video, we'll learn about the Kanva dynasty. This was a short-lived dynasty. For 45 years, it ruled the Magad Empire, or India, not India, the Magad Empire in ancient India, and that succeeded the Maurya dynasty. But mainly, it succeeded the Shunga dynasty. And here are some keynotes about the Kanva dynasty. These are all short notes. So the first ruler of Kanva dynasty was Vasudev. He was the founder of the Kanva dynasty, and he killed the last ruler of the Shunga dynasty by he treacherously got last ruler of Shunga dynasty murdered by sending a daughter of a slave to the king and poisoned the king. The last poisoned Devbhuti, the last ruler of Shunga dynasty, was poisoned by a daughter of a slave which was sent by Vasudev. And Vasudev was the founder of the Kanva dynasty, and he was also the prime minister, that is Amatya. In the ancient India, prime minister was known as Amatya. So Vasudev was the Amatya of the king Devbhuti, but he got Devbhuti killed and then ascended the throne. So there were only 4 kings, notable kings of the Kanva dynasty, that is Devbhuti, Bhumimitra, Narayan, and the last king, Susharman. So all these were the 4 kings: Devbhuti, Narayan, Bhumimitra, and Susharman. The last king of the Kanva dynasty, Susharman, was killed by the Simuk, king from Andhra Pradesh. So as we all know, rise and fall. The Kanva dynasty emerged after decline of the Shunga Empire. It lasted for a brief period from approximately 73 to 28 BC. And its founder was Vasudev, also known as Vasudev Kanva, was the founder and the only known ruler of the Kanva dynasty. After this, Narayan, Bhumimitra, and Susharman were there. The capital of Kanva dynasty was likely at Patliputra, the same as the Mauryas. The Kanva rule lasted for about 45 years. This was the duration, and it ended with Susharman being defeated by Simuk. So historical sources: information about the Kanva dynasty is limited, and much of what is known comes from inscriptions and ancient texts like the Purans. And contributions: due to the relatively short duration of their rule, the Kanva dynasty didn't make significant contributions or leave a lasting impact on Indian history compared to some of the earlier and later dynasties. So contributions were not that much. In fact, the last few rulers of Kanva dynasty were so engaged in pleasure and so much engaged in pleasure activities that they did not give any importance to the empire, and the empire shrank only to a few provinces. The area of the empire shrank, as well as the Magad. Even Magad was not the center of the power in those days. So Magad was thrown out of the center of the power due to the pleasure-seeking kings of the Kanva dynasty. Successors after the Kanva dynasty, the Simuk, the last ruler of Kanva dynasty, that is Susharman, was defeated by Simuk, king of the Andhra Pradesh. And so after this, we'll learn about that dynasty. So it's important to note that historical details about the Kanva dynasty are not as extensively documented as some other dynasties, and scholars rely on a combination of archaeological findings and ancient texts to reconstruct this period of Indian history. So as we know, in case of Kanva dynasty, you have to just remember some of the rulers: Vasudev, Bhumimitra, Narayan, and Susharman, and how Vasudev got Devbhuti killed by sending daughter of a maid disguised as the queen, and poisoned Devbhuti, the last ruler of Shunga Empire. That you have to remember. Then you have to remember the founder. The capital was at Patliputra, but you have to remember that the kings were so pleasure-seeking that the kingdom shrank, and the area of the kingdom shrank, and Magad was no longer the center of the power. Then you have to remember the duration. It lasted for 45 years, and from 73 to 28 BC, Kanva dynasty. And after that, we have to know the contributions. Due to the relatively short rule, the contributions were not mainly significant, so you have to remember this. And then you have to focus on the later dynasties. So this is all about the Kanva dynasty. Hope you found this video informational. I'll see you in the next video. In the further videos, we will discuss about the further dynasties that ruled India.